How is everybody doing today? Wanted to make a video today. As you can tell, I seen a clip of, I think her name's Joy Taylor. She's on like Fox Sports One or something like that. They got a podcast, her and Taylor Rooks. And she talked about the hypothetical things that people say. But she said, in her opinion, how the dating game to her, for her perspective, really is. And we're going to watch this clip here in a few minutes and we're going to break it down. But thanks for everybody who's been watching. Appreciate everybody who's been hitting that subscribe button, following us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We appreciate the love. And now that I'm out of school, I think on the weekends, I'm going to try to do more reaction videos of stuff I see and talk about it from a thinking game perspective, from a positive way, just sharing experiences of how things kind of go that people really don't talk about. And now you're starting to kind of see, because we talk about this kind of stuff on the podcast all the time, about how people say they have standards, but sometimes you get in situations where the standards go out the window that you have. You may have the strictest standards, but if you don't stick to it, you could end up in situations that's not ideal for you because you went outside of what your standards are. Man or woman. It's not just one way, man or woman. But yeah, we're finna get ready and play this clip. I'm gonna have some people that come in and talk about it as well. But thanks for watching. Like I say, this is a reaction video. I don't even really have a lot of notes. I'm just watching and kind of explain to you kind of how the game go. I know young people say that a lot. It's the game. And that's the analogy I kind of want you to understand, especially young kids. You're graduating, you're going to be in the world, you're about to be an adult. And before you get to marriage, people say they're dating, they're talking to other people, seeing other people. Some people call it a dating game. Some people say I'm just seeing other people. Everybody has a different definition of it. The thing that makes it tough is there is no set of rules. There's not a book that everybody goes by. It's it could be get it how you live, however you go about doing it. Some people play fair, some people don't play fair. That word fair means different stuff to different people. Everybody has different tactics they use, different mindsets they go by. And when it comes to dating, you have all of these people with these different mindsets meeting each other, interacting with each other. And you have to be objective throughout the whole process. And you have to understand that you may not always win. Sometimes you're going to take some losses. And depending on who you are and how you roll and what's your mindset and what's your attitude, it could be no different than an NFL team. You could be a winning franchise, you could be a loser franchise, or you could be a middle of the road franchise. But sometimes it's all about mindset and how you operate. So, let's get ready. Watch this clip and let's react to this video. Comment, let me know what you think. When you go back, whoever go back and watch this, thanks for watching. Now let's play this clip.
We just keep it a buck. If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine, funny, money.
What the?
You're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that you talked on Instagram about how you would never and this woman ain't because women this and men this, you're moving forward with this person. We must free ourselves.
No, you know my favorite hypothetical.
So, when you hear that, when you hear she said that a lot of women throw their standards out the window, a lot of times it comes down to three things. Trying to bleep it out because trying to stay positive because I know, like I said, parents and kids watch this. So, but she said a man got to be fine, a man got to be funny, and a man fine, funny, and effing money. That's what she said. A woman said this. Now, when dudes say this, they get crucified almost, or they say that's not true. It's not like that. Women have standards. You just heard it from a woman. Let me go back and play it again. Let me show you.
But if they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want, fine, funny, money.
What the?
So, he said if they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, and they got the money. And they slinging that iron. What she said, slinging that iron, you batting 380 in the major leagues, you batting 380 and above. That's what she's saying, y'all. I wasn't always married. That's why I try to share those experiences from a thinking game standpoint. When you out here dating, trying to figure yourself out, figure life out, you have to understand that dating is not an innocent place. Sometimes it's not a fun place, depending on where you are in life. And then there are some guys that understand where they are and they know how to work within where they are and manage their situation and things that's going on around them. Because let's be honest, a lot of guys that grew up in the inner city, you don't start out with finance. You just don't. A lot of times you just trying to find a job. But most guys that start in the inner city, you don't have a lot of finance, a lot of money. You just don't. Let's say about 70, 80% don't. And that's probably a low number. But what you may have is you may have the aesthetic and you may be funny. You got 2 out of 3. Rarely do you have all 3 at one time. Some people do, but it's like a 5% of out of, you know what I'm saying, like a 5% where you got the finance, you got the aesthetic value, and you funny. All in one. It's very rare. And a lot of times you don't even, if you don't take advantage of like educating yourself in your 20s and getting to that level of finance, you won't have it in your 20s. You might just have the first 2. So I'm just talking from a guy perspective. Like when you go into the dating game, there are things, it's a vain place. It can be a dark place. Everything, it can challenge you. Some people, it messes with their head. They can't handle the expectation or the pressure of dating because of what she's saying, the three F's, I guess. Was this what you want to call it? The 3 F's? And if we don't have, like, just having a sense of humor, in my opinion, can take you further than what money can. Dealing with other people, especially like when you're young and dating women, when you don't have the finance, if you got a sense of humor, you could make people laugh or make a woman laugh when you in her presence in a like conversation. That can go further than money can because money don't always last or you don't always spend money all the time, but you mostly are talking and entertaining and doing these things. You know, when you're dating, you kind of either going to the movies or going here, going there. When you're in a relationship or when you're trying to date somebody exclusively, outside of spending money, especially when you don't have a lot of finances, most of the time you're really talking to getting to know this person. But how do you make it to where it's a conversation that's easy and palatable? I guess you can talk about these things and it not be so boring. How do you entertain? So, but think about this.
If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine.
Like she's saying, financial status. When you're young, you can't get stuck on financial status, but you really want to work to get, not for dating purposes, just to be able to handle business, to have more opportunities. That's why you want to get high in the financial status that you can get to. Not everybody's going to get to like NFL money level or NBA level. That's for like the 1%, 2% of people in the world. But regular people, there's a financial status that you can get to as a regular, everyday working person that you can get to. But guess what? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes smarts to know where you fit. Like where do you fit in the world? What's going on, bro?
What's going on? What's going on? I saw you was on here. Let me catch up with you.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to drop some game real quick, man. Let me play this video, man. We talk about this all the time, but to hear a woman say it, it's a little different. Because if we say this, you almost get crucified, right?
Yeah, I mean, did you play it already?
Yeah, go ahead.
A buck. If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine, funny, money.
What the?
You're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that you talk on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't here because women this and men this. You're moving forward with this person. We must free ourselves.
No, you know my.
So, what you think, bro? We talk about this all the time, man.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. And the lower your standard is, the lower your standard of living. If you're on, if you're battling making ends meet, you're on check to check, and you meet somebody with those things. A little, like they don't have to have a lot because it don't take much to have more than you have because you're not where you need to be financially or whatever. And it's kind of hard to be funny when you're broke, So, you lower those standards. But she said basically saying you'll put up with anything if those things are high enough. And not to go back to the same thing. But when people deal with millionaires or billionaires, they take a lot of their boundaries go out the window. Those standards that they say they're supposed to have go out the window because they're being provided for. And some people are charming in public, but are abusive in private.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So there are a lot of red flags, but you got enough money, those red flags start turning pink, white, orange, so it can make you overlook these red flags. And if you make me feel a certain way with your jokes, and you look good enough, like we say it all the time, as men, if a woman woman can be super broke, but if she fine enough, we'll look past that. You know what I mean? Especially as a man, if you're got your finances where they need to be or middle of the road, she ain't got to have nothing. You know what I mean? If you're fine enough, you know what I mean? So it was kind of different to see a woman say, hey, if you look good enough, I'm gonna take.
So which one you think?
Homosexuals.
I was talking about this before you came on. Which one you think is more? If you had to put a value on it for a man, do you think having money or being funny? Which one you think?
As a tool in the toolbox, or you're looking or qualities you're looking for in a woman?
I'm talking about that you need to have as a man. Like before you get into the dating game, that's why I was telling them earlier. It's kind of like going to the NFL or going to the NBA or something. Most people look at that as a dating as a game, but what's your skill set? Most dudes don't start out with finances. You don't in the hood. We'll say about 70, 80%. You don't start out with a high finance. You just don't. You know what I'm saying? So the only tool you have is it. Go ahead.
That's the thing. Like the finances is something you can get. That's something you can develop. That's a skill that you can kind of master. But your looks and your personality, that's something you just gotta have. Now you can take classes on how to speak better, etiquette and things like that. You know what I mean? Maybe take a little comedy class.
But this is the thing, right? The reason why I say that is that I'm just saying from my experience growing up, I didn't have a lot of money, but having a sense of humor could take you further than not having the money. You know what I'm saying? Even with personality, you may not have the best personality starting out, but through trial and error, you learn to develop and become better as things go on, as success through losses and wins. You know what I'm saying?
You know, but people like want some kind of shortcut, but there ain't no shortcut to that.
But no, it's no shortcut. Definitely not.
Because there's some people, they got the education, they got to millionaire status, but still awkward around groups of people. They're awkward around women. They're awkward around authority figures, and it's just something that they just don't have. And she mentioned that because it's rare to find a man with the 3 F's. Like he may be funny.
That's what I said. Yep, it's hard.
You can see some really fat or ugly guys have women, and they not rich. They're funny or something like that. So
most of the time they be rich though.
Well, you know, of course. I mean, of course, being rich wouldn't talent as well.
Right.
Being rich wouldn't hurt, but I think the one that can get you the most and that is the most attainable, you got it or you don't, is being funny. It's really just to hold yourself with confidence or deliver a joke or just make her feel comfortable is a really
That's what I was saying before you came on too. When you're not spending money going places, most of the time you're talking. Probably 60% of the time. It's conversation, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even higher than that.
I mean, you can see a lot of men that's they're eye candy or they look good, but they don't really have much to say. Women get them on dates or women chase them, and then the woman gets them, and he don't really have nothing to say, no really personality, and they end up getting bored real quick.
And what she was saying too about standards, right? You said like a woman shouldn't adjust her standard or. Do women have standards based on it, or they just use that as a front, just to kind of filter out?
Standards are basically a filter, but they really anyone worth their weight has standards. So I think a lot of women have standards down. They got superficial or fake standards that they say on the internet. I don't want a man if he don't have this or that. But then you look at their ex-boyfriends or their current boyfriends and they regular people. You say you want to deal with millionaires on 6 figures, but your baby daddy or this or that. So now he was he had money, but he not what you claim to want. He looked good, but he wasn't as fine as you portrayed. You want your man on the internet. So people have standards, but the degree of those standards varies. What they will accept might be different from what they.
She said he throw them out the window. Standards gone.
I mean, but
And
if you
then
get a high, if you get a high enough, like so, okay, let's say we're drafting somebody, we got
yeah.
position need, what we really need
Oh yeah,
to
for
grow
sure.
our team.
Yeah.
We got what we want, and we got a plan for our draft. We're going to draft
Mm-hmm.
running back, this and that. But if you get that blockbuster pick, if Michael Vick drops on your board, you're going to draft. I don't care what we got a quarterback. You know what I mean?
Right.
Man, you might have John Elway, but Michael Vick dropped down to you. You're gonna draft him anyway. You know what I mean? I don't care who you get on your team. We need receivers. They got Michael Vick. We're gonna draft him. They got a Peyton Manning. We're gonna draft him. You got a Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson. It don't matter what your plan was. You had all these experts in your draft room talking about what you're gonna do with your first pick. But if Calvin falls in your lap, you're gonna do whatever it takes to get him. And like, I want a man that's do this at 6. I need him to be 6'5" and did this and that. But that 5'11" man come through with millions, billions, you know what I mean? And he actually treats you nice. Forget those preferences I had. So it's a difference between the standard and the preference as well.
And what I want to say to men and women, when you play this game, you got to have in mind the essence of the time. You're not gonna be 20 forever. You're not gonna be 30 forever. You see these two women.
You're not gonna
No
be
judgment.
175 pounds forever either.
You see these two women. I'm not being objective. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just being objective. We've been young. I'm 40. I wasn't always 40. I wasn't married. Always married 12 years. I've been in the dating game. When you play this game, and if you stay in it too long, we've seen it time and time again. Some people would develop a bitterness because they didn't know how to understand the game that they was playing. You're not going to be 20 forever. You're not going to radiant. You're not going to glow like the sun in the morning forever like you think you are. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, the sun will set. It don't shine forever. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that I hope go ahead.
Or, you know what I mean?
No.
You passed up on something, you can't go back. You know what I mean? You passed up on the doctor in college. You know what I mean? A couple of years later, you mature.
Yeah.
And then you want to go back to him because he was a good man or she was a good woman.
And he married
Sometimes
by now.
you can't go back. A lot of times you can't go back. You know what I mean? What you did to that woman, she still holds on to that. And she grew from that.
Yeah.
And you like, man, that was my dream girl. That was one like, well, you know, you passed up on it. Your value has dropped in her life.
Because when you meet these type of women, young brothers, when you get out of high school, you meet these type of women, a lot of times they're not trying to settle down either. It's like everybody's moving at 100 miles per hour on the freeway, and, you know, you kind of intersect paths and stuff. But, like I say, if you don't make the right decisions, you get caught in the game. And it's kind of like the NFL. By the time you realize it, let's say the average career in the NFL is what, 3 years? Something like that?
Yeah.
And that's everybody think that they like Kobe level or Jordan level, but in reality, you may not be at that level. That's only in the NBA or NFL, that's only like the top out of 100% of players. That's the top 5% of period. Dating, the same thing. You may not be in the top 5%. And even if you are, eventually you will fall out of the top 5% and you will start going to mid-level. You at a 99 overall now, but eventually you're going to go to an 89. Then you're going to fall to a 79. Next thing you know, you're going to be out the league. That's how it works in dating. You go from 20, you at the peak. Now you start going to the mid. You still in the dating game, though. You still think you got it.
Because you get all these offers. You know, you're getting all these offers. You know what I mean? Like young women, you got men lining up, fighting each other to pay your bills.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that line is going to get shorter and shorter.
Yes.
You know.
For sure. Even with guys, man. I mean, you sometimes you play the dating game you got all three, but you don't have the discipline. Now you mess around and have 6 or 7 kids, about 3 or 4 different women. Now that affects you when you get out the game. Now you trying to be, you trying to settle down, but now you have that with you. You know what I'm saying? The situation that somebody else got to deal with.
And that's going to affect your finances. So
Yes.
that makes you, the more kids you get, the more child support you have, the less time you have, and it's affecting your finances. You can't, like, let's say you can't outwork, you can't work out
bad habits.
Like say you got a bad diet, you can't outwork a bad diet. You know what I mean? So you can work out, but if you're not eating right, it's not going. You're not going to get the effects you need or you want the desired effect. So you keep having these kids. You're trying to make more money, but the child support keep going. It's a percentage.
Man.
And now you're trying to be this one woman man, but you still paying for other households because of these kids. So all of the decisions you make brings down your desirability, even as a man. Men think they can cheat the system. Well, I can just make more money. I can just provide more, but it's a cap to that as well. Unless you like to get Facebook.
On the flip side of that, now we're talking about the dating game from this reaction video. The flip side of that is, for a woman, when you have multiple kids and you're a single mother, a dude looks at you different. It's like in the NFL, he looks at you different. He is going to see what he can negotiate out of you or what he can get without trying to make you a franchise player. Is that a good analogy?
Yeah, that's
kind of like in the NFL. They're not gonna give you you want the max contract. They're gonna try to you want the max, but are you a max player though? You know what I'm saying? And when you start having kids and stuff, I'm not saying it's something wrong with that, but you gotta understand market value and things, how things affect and grow or take away from your value. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
in the dating game.
That's superficial view of things.
The dating game is superficial. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a very, like I said, that's a very superficial way of looking at things. And guess what? You might meet that guy that's not trying to date you. You just organically meet somewhere, and he likes you, or he or she likes you.
Is this not superficial? But is this not superficial?
No, of course.
If they're fine enough,
and that's
like funny enough,
we're gonna go into the
financial
second part of
status
what he was saying as well. Like when a person meets you, because there's somebody like if somebody like you, they like you. If you can be that old broke down cutlass with a flat tire, and somebody wants to fix you up because of you, because of your personality, they like you. But when you're dating and you're a total stranger to stranger, people are only looking at the superficial. Like, are you worth getting to know? Are you worth taking out on one date? You say, hey, well, if you really get to know me, I'm a great person. But like I said, a lot of times, who has time in this microwavable world, in this very superficial world, who has time to see that you're a great woman or a great man, even though you got 4 or 5 kids or whatever the situation is, they won't get to that goodness, how good of a wife you are, because we won't make it that far down the road.
But and what I'm saying is, when a dude see you, right, and he see that you have kids and you single, you can't put on the facade about what you're not doing or what you haven't done, because the evidence is right there. Like you can't tell me, like when you dating, you can, but the evidence is right there. You can't tell me, that you're not doing nothing because you got kids. I know for a fact I know that you in the game. You just kind of took a couple losses or whatever, but you in the game. You know what I'm saying?
But they changed, and I want you to respect.
That's fine. But I still know that there's a chance. But the dudes think we talking about being in the dating game. Does he know that there's a chance that you could revert back, or he could get you in that window based on the 3 F's: finance, funny, and what she said, finance,
being attractive,
funny, and finance. He got the 3 F's. he know he could probably get you to sway a little bit based on those three things. You know what I'm saying? Even with guys, some girl, it's a tier. Most dudes know this. They don't want to say it out loud, but there are a tier of women, right? You got some women, they only deal with these kind of dudes. She's like, you know what? She only deal with D-boys. She only deal with the hustlers. That's out of my league, you know what I'm saying? Because hustlers operate different, you know what I'm saying?
Look,
He might give her a stack.
She's already said, to get out of those, you can be really exceptional on one F.
Yeah.
And then you can bypass, maybe you really fine. So you can bypass finance, and you don't have to be that funny because you're fine. You might get a temporary contract with just being fine, but it can get you in there. Because funny, she only deal with a certain caliber hustler, but you funny enough, you can get the chance. And that's with women too. You may not be attractive, but you're really, really cool, and you may grow on a man. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of people dating women that's not their type, but they married now. Because sometimes when people get in there, they get in there. You know what I mean? So.
But I guess what I'm saying is there are a tier of women based on where you are in the 3 Fs. You're not even gonna get a chance. It's not even happening though. It's kind of like if you don't got the ticket, you don't got the golden ticket, you just not going into that theater. You know what I'm saying? It's just not gonna happen.
You might not meet him in the club, but you catch one of them top tiers on the elevator, and you catch him.
You might catch him at the right time. Yeah,
you catch a joke at the right time, make them laugh, and you show them that you're an interesting person. Even a millionaire, if he see a housekeeper that's fine enough, in the hospital, and she says something, oh, she's cute, and she's got a really good personality. I like being around her. I'm not trying to date her, you know what I mean? She friends are on her way into a relationship, you know what I mean? And the second part of what she was saying, and we say this all the time. I think we said this on our last episode. Yeah. People with these hypotheticals, I won't date a man that does this or does that. But guess what? This man, if he does this, I'ma leave. But when $10,000 on the table, you know what I mean, you gonna walk away from that? Or you said you don't do this. Here, I got this money in the bag.
She talked about that too.
Because women this and men this, you're moving forward with this person. We must free ourselves.
No, my favorite hypothetical, because it's so ridiculous, is when you ask anybody if they would do something outrageous for like $1 million, and they say no. It's like, okay, would you do it for $2 million? I mean, would you do it for what's the number? Like, anytime you add money into a hypothetical, people love feeling good about themselves by saying that they wouldn't do it for the money, but it's literally only because it's a hypothetical. If you saw this $1 million in front of your face and I said, do this, are you doing it? So I don't even know if hypotheticals are real indicators of the situation that's being discussed. Because I'm starting to think people only use hypotheticals to lie about the circumstance.
So, when we talk about hypotheticals, hypotheticals are crazy because there are people out there. That's why you gotta be careful about what you ambitious after. Because let's just say people go over to Dubai, and the dudes pay them. These hypothetical situations they talking about, there is a world out there for that, and you got to be careful. All it takes for you to run into that. Those sheiks or something like that be paying women like crazy amount of money.
And it really don't take that oil sheik money. You know what I mean?
No, it don't. No, that's the most extreme, but sure. In a regular time, yeah.
I mean, I've seen what somebody do for 500, let alone 1,000.
500? You talking about 40? Somebody's out there doing it for 40 just to get their water bill paid.
So you know what I mean? You're not gonna, tell me like when you and then some people really get off on that. What's your price to do the thing that you said you will never do? And they don't really want to do nothing to you. They just want to break you in that way. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I do no problem. The price is right. I do like some stuff, but then some stuff I just really won't like. It's no compromise. You know what I mean? I'm not selling my child's organs for any amount of money. You know what I mean? That's my child's life. You know what I mean? Like, but I watch Fear Factor. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that said they wasn't gonna do stuff, but then it's like, well, would you eat this? You know what I mean? And it's not that wasn't a lot of money. And they eating bugs and they doing weird stuff on TV. You know what I mean? So imagine what a person will do behind closed doors when that cash is right there, and you know they was giving. And I ain't gonna tell.
We not in Hollywood, but you hear all the stories about Hollywood, like. A lot of people they say they get to the superstar level, allegedly, that's what they say. You don't get there just by hard work and talent. It take a little more than that, you know what I'm saying?
No, what about the millions of people who did get there? They did the thing.
Boy, and they did it, yeah. Man. Boy, yeah. But yeah, even on regular level, it's people that do stuff, man. It's sometimes we just don't like talking about it, but man, money is crazy, man. I know people say it's not all about the money, but that's why people do a lot of crazy stuff. Probably most of the time, it's because of money. You know what I'm saying?
Because
think about go ahead.
People think money is just money. Well, money can get you anything. It can get you a house. It can get you food. It can get you water. It can make you look a certain way. With enough money, you can get therapy. It'll make you feel a certain type of way. So whatever you think you want, it's a price tag on the way you can get it. You want a good body, get a BBL. You can pay for a BBL. You want to be healthy, you can pay for a personal trainer.
Like Oprah, get that Ozempic.
You know, my appointment coming up. You know what I mean? So it's always something that you can get. With money, it'll make your life easier. You stressed, pay all your bills, pay your debt off. You know what I mean? See how it's gonna take a lot of that off you. You know, so.
But I really have to stress this before we get up out of here because I don't want to be too long. But I really have to stress this. Like when you look at these two women, most dudes would think these women are fair to the eyes, and they probably feel that attention. But I'm telling you. Guys, think about this. Halle Berry, at one time, would you agree, was probably at these women level as far as attention goes. This is before social media. Now she probably trying to stay alive on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to stay relevant.
I mean, that's a woman who's still physically beautiful. But you got to think about.
But it's not that heat ain't the same though. Yeah.
Well, I mean, popularity and beauty is totally different. Talent, you know what I mean, and beauty is totally different. What keeps you relevant, is totally different. You know what I mean? Let's say, Kim Kardashian lost her heat. She's still making billions. Well, she's still making her money.
But she capitalized. She capitalized at the peak of it, but at the same time, when you use beauty or your body for value, eventually it's gonna decline.
Well, anything. Right? I mean, anything
and that's what I'm saying. You have to realize that before you go into the dating game, at some point you're going to decline. And if you don't look at it that way, life is going to come at you and you're going to get bitter. A lot of women get bitter because they didn't think about the decline. All they thought about was the incline. They never thought about the decline. You know what I'm saying? At some point, the roller coaster going to come to an end. It's going to fall. It's going to go down. You know what I'm saying? And nobody.
The same thing with men and earning potential and things.
Yes, like that. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Like I say, most men, I think you don't even really make that kind of financial until you in your 50s. According to stats, you don't even get to that level of money until you in your 50s. That's because a lot of dudes play around, and you don't really start tightening up till you get in your late 30s and stuff like that. Well, that's why we're trying to tell kids.
You can't get 20 years. You can't get 20 years of experience at 20.
But what I'm saying is, you can set yourself up and educate yourself so when the experience comes, you can get there a little bit quicker than instead of just waiting on the experience. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, but it's like a thing. It's a lifetime of earning. You know what I mean? And
for sure.
If you make all the perfect choices with getting your degree, building your skills, and building your network, it still won't make you Mark Zuckerberg, but you'll get to where you need to get faster.
For a regular person,
I mean, but you know what I mean? A lot of people think, well, this is capitalist society. Well, Mark Zuckerberg was once a regular person. That's the thing where hard work, dedication, and luck
Yeah.
put you in the place you need to be.
This is why I tell kids: look up, go to the state. I think a lot of this stuff be public information. You can go to the state. You can look up probably school districts and stuff. Look at some of these positions that if you go to school and you get the experience and have the skill set, like being a principal. You think a principal, you see it, you be like, oh, just a principal. Dude could be making 6 figures easy, and they probably be in their 40s if they play their cards right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of these jobs, it's starting to become less and less people available for them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us not even qualified because we played around in our 20s instead of, you know what I'm saying, grinding it out. And now you reach that point in your 40s, you realize, you know what, I need to tighten up. So now you kind of got to play catch up. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what we're saying. But
you know, it's a balance, like a work-life balance. Because hey, guess what? You can be building up for retirement. You know what I mean? Or do all these right things, and you can die at 40. You can die at 35.
Yeah, don't take care of your health. Yeah, that's one thing.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It can just just happen. And you did all this stuff, building your portfolio, doing things with your investments, you know, your school, making sure the second half of your life will be prosperous. But like, it's weird. You got to grind, you got to build, but you got to kind of live and take care of your mental health at the same time. And it's very hard to do those things.
Yeah. Because you got to understand what to take on, what not to take on. You got to make tough decisions. You know,
and that's the thing right there. That's the thing you don't learn until you're older. Like I say, older people have the plan because they made all the mistakes when they were young, so they know what not to do. And they try to tell you what not to do, but you haven't learned that shit.
And that's our mission. We're trying to give you the insight, like what he's saying, so you can kind of have the insight based on our experiences, so you can make better decisions when you're younger, because now you can have the insight, and that's what we're giving to you. Our gift to you is our experiences and insight, and maybe you can turn that into getting there earlier or being better, you know what I'm saying, and making those decisions. Sometimes you just don't know. You really don't know. Like, I didn't know what a lawyer was, like, when I was younger. You see him, but you don't know what a lawyer is. You just always hear, you know, Johnny Cochran, or you hear lawyers. But when I was looking at them, I was working at a place, IT place, they had a lawyer that's like their corporate lawyer. You really don't even see lawyers get laid off. Have you ever seen a lawyer talking about lawyer layoffs at a law firm?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever seen it. I don't know.
I'm not in those rooms. I don't be.
But you don't see it across the news. What I'm saying is you don't see it in the news. You always see like tech, working in like Walmart, stuff like that, and Amazon and stuff like that. But you never see like in the law sector, stuff like you never see lawyers.
They don't talk. I mean, we're not going to try to sell you all, you know, cotton candy, bubblegum dreams. But they don't tell you about those lawyers that went to law school or that are broke, still driving a Honda Civic, and they've been a lawyer for 7 years. So it's a grind required.
So is that like bad habits though? But see, that comes with the learning about life. Is that bad habits that?
It's just you don't want to get in the firm. You don't want to do internships. You want to be your own boss. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to have the law firm with your name on it, and your name is just Robert Johnson. You know what I mean? Not Rainwater, Hope, or Sexton. But you think you can compete with them on their level. That's just not my, thing. It ain't gonna be all like it seems like when we're telling you this, and it seems like, oh, I just grind. It's gonna be easy on paper, but all of this stuff is hard. It requires a certain amount of dedication and foresight. We don't want to just leave that out. Just talking about, well, if you follow this plan, you'll be great. But it'll put you in a better position.
And I'm gonna say this, and then we can go ahead. We can get off. The last thing I want to say is really two things. I want to ask you this: how long do you think they can sustain what they got going if they're doing it based on beauty? How long do you think they can sustain it for? Because the social media is so fickle. 1 minute you get the attention, the next minute you fighting for being relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, this is and I don't think they're doing.
No. I'm just
No,
using
no,
an example.
their beauty
Yeah.
is something they have. They always have, and it's a tool in their arsenal.
Mhm.
But this the subjects they talk about being having clickbait, being relevant, things like that, having relevant topics. You know what I mean? They can go a long way. If you evolve as you grow, your beauty
Mhm.
goes down, but your knowledge goes up. You know what I mean? And these look like two very intelligent women. Um,
Yeah.
and they're still beautiful, and they're doing a good job with their platform. They speak well, intelligent, so I think they can really go far. And
Cause they
it's
say
just the
don't live off
beginning.
vanity. That's all. Yeah. Don't live.
And I'm gonna commend them by not living off their vanity, because they could just be Instagram models, but they didn't choose that route.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't choose OnlyFans. They
I
didn't
bet you if you
choose
go
to-
look at their page though, it's probably kind of crazy. I ain't
I mean,
looking
you
at it.
gotta
Bet
see.
you
I
if you
mean,
go look
look,
at their
if,
page. Yeah.
if you have this, you have this tool in your toolbox. You use that tool, but you don't rely heavily on it. And you can see they're diversifying their appeal and their brand. And I want to commend them for that.
And this is the last thing I want to say. Then we gonna get up out of here. This for real. Young women out there graduating, starting to be an adult. You have to understand that if you live and you're a regular person living in the city, your expectations have to be realistic. If you say I want a man need to have this a house, car, and financial status, a lot of times dudes don't start out like that. Like from 17 to 25, you don't start out like that. It's a very small percentage, and they do not live in the inner city probably. 9 times out of 10, they don't. Most of the time you meet people that's in your proximity, that you're around, most of the people in your proximity will not start out with all three of the F's. Funny, fine, and finance. It's just not going to happen. It's a 1%, probably half of a 1% because you're younger. So you have to realize that it's some women out there sometimes, they think when they meet a dude, he should have this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand how hard it is to even get a house. It's not easy, the process to get a house, especially when you're young, like 18, 19 years old, 20. That's not easy. Car, maybe, but now with inflation, it's kind of crazy financing a car. But expecting a man to be a provider that young is kind of crazy. You got to be able to grow with a person. Both of y'all have to be able to grow. Just like a man expecting a wife to be at a certain level, you have to grow into that point. You got to have realistic expectations. That's all I'm saying. And anything you want to say, man, before we get up out
I
this
mean,
thing?
like a lot of people say, who is society? Who are we to dictate somebody expectations are realistic or not? All right.
Yeah.
And another thing too, I've been seeing this kind of been trending. Men don't respect the woman that got them when they're at their lowest. So when they get to where they need to be, they're that $1 million lawyer, they're their doctor. They leave that woman because they feel like they deserve better because they outgrown her. And you accepted me when I was nothing. And that was too easy. Now I need somebody that has higher requirements for me. And I just think that's a kind of false thing. Now, for marriages that don't work, that's true. But for those lifelong marriages that people have, on those bonds that people have that don't break, like Denzel Washington and his situation, Samuel L. Jackson, things like that, those women were with them and they stayed with them and they reaped the benefits of that, being with somebody like that. So if every case you see a man leaving a woman that he's been with when he was low, it's another 2 cases where the man actually stayed and saw that woman's worth when he perceived himself as worthless. She thought it was something. You know what I mean? So
for sure. Yeah, that's what my wife, like I said, she met me at probably my lowest point. So pretty much was unemployment, working in Walmart, trying to figure myself out after being laid off, but being
so
fired.
do you think when you become a millionaire, would you look at her any less because she accepted you when you were nothing?
Mm-mm.
She don't
I
deserve
love
you
her
at
for
your
that.
best because she
I love her for
accepted you
accepting me.
for
I love her more for accepting me when I'm nothing. If I'll become a millionaire and she get the keys to the castle, what you want to do? Because she held me down in places in rough times. This is the thing about dealing with being with a black man. Sometimes you got to understand the path. Sometimes is not always laid out for us to go. So it's gonna be trial and error unless you have you with somebody that got a mentor that's kind of guiding them. But if you don't have a mentor, your mentor for most black men is your trial and error. It's kind of like your scars is your mentor almost. So she endured that with me, allowed me to figure myself out. Even right now, holding me down while I'm going to school. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm working full time, but still being able to watch the kids a little bit more than me. You know what I'm saying? Allowing me to make content and stuff and giving me that leash to find out what I can really do as far as capacity wise as a man, as a provider of the house. So I would definitely not look down on her at all. Matter of fact, like I say, when I would tell a woman, if you meet a man and invest in him, not invest in him like money wise, but invest in him emotionally and kind of hold him up, he will appreciate you. A dude with some sense. He will appreciate you as y'all grow and get bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't a lot of women that do that. They talk crazy to you. You ain't figured yourself out yet. And sometimes you don't realize what you have to go through to get to a level of success. You trying to get to a level of success, and when you start getting there, you start seeing things are different than where you were at the ground level. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else thinks different. Like now that you think it different, I ain't looking at you. Now you Uncle Tom because you made some changes about what you do, and you're starting to see success, and they don't want to do that or whatever. So you have to deal with that part, like the perception. Some dudes don't care. Like on me, I don't care about perception. I'm trying to get to the better version of Mike. Sometimes it's not gonna be what everybody like. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to do that, though, understanding how a black man has to go through those layers of the onion to get to that success. And like I said, I appreciate her for that, you know what I'm saying? 100%. You know what I'm saying? I would never look down on her for that, you know what I'm saying? So, and even dating, right? Most of the time, some people view dating as negative. It's not always negative. Sometimes it's the decisions that you make in dating that can be negative, but sometimes you find yourself your personality. You find out who you are in dating, and a lot of times what you find out what people deem negative, somebody else may deem as positive. You know what I'm saying? Another person may think you sarcastic. Another person may think you're brilliant. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a sense of humor. Some people got thin skin.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want ready-made. I want the man already made, already got everything going for himself.
Yeah.
I don't want to build. I don't want to invest in him. I want him to have his stuff together. But then you don't have your stuff together. He's supposed to help you build and let you go to school and do your business. You know what I mean? And it's just real life is a give and take. You're gonna meet people on different levels. Some people you're above, and like your cousin was saying, some people feel confident as a woman. Some women like dating men down on them because the man needs you. Yeah. And it gives you a certain amount of power in the relationship, but you claim you want a man that already got it. So you talk down to the man that you're actually dating, and you knew you was above him when you got with him, but it gives you a sense of security. So. And
I'm gonna try to get her, man. I'm gonna try to. I think because most of the time, I think that's when she mostly free on the weekend. Try to do like reaction, like a reaction on the weekend, reaction videos on the weekend around the podcast. So I'm gonna try to work out, man, and try to see what y'all schedule like. Try to work that out. But guys, for to get ready to get up out this thing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you whoever go back and watch this. Once again, we were just reacting, no judgment, just objectivity. Talking about the dating game based on from a regular people standpoint. We talking about those people in Hollywood and at the top level of what considered the world, I guess. I don't know, but for regular people, it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what level you on. You gotta know where you playing at. You know what level you on. But yeah, bro, you got anything you want to say before we sign out this thing?
No, I'm out. It's all good.
All right, guys, we signing out. Thanks for watching.